New era for journalism profession as Journalists Accreditation Board launched. Good evening, I am Kanki Mwaigomole. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook and X pages at TBC Online. In a rapidly evolving global economy, Tanzania stands at the crossroads of opportunity. At the heart of this transformation is President Samia Suluhu Hassan, a leader redefining economic diplomacy and positioning Tanzania as a key player on the world stage. Faida Ngaga takes us through the 4 years of President Samia and the significance of adopting economic diplomacy as a guiding principle.
From East Africa to Southern Africa, Asia to the Middle East, USA to Europe, President Samia Suluhu Hassan has embarked on diplomatic missions aimed at fostering trade and investment. Her administration has worked consistently to improve Tanzania's business environment, attract direct foreign investment, and strengthen regional and global economic ties.
It is my hope that more areas of partnership and cooperation will be forged and realized. Ladies and gentlemen, despite boasting 60 years of our diplomatic relations, our trade and investment relations are still prudent.
In March 2021, President Samia Suluhu Hassan made history as Tanzania's first female president. President Samia Suluhu Hassan sought to transform the economy of Tanzania, and in the process of reshaping the country, a strong emphasis was put on economic diplomacy. But how has the strategy impacted the country's economy? President Samia Suluhu Hassan has visited major global economies, securing trade agreements, loans and investments. All these initiatives are vital for Tanzania's development.
Tanzania and Turkey relations were reinvigorated by high-level visits, as said Professor Necdet Ünver. And these visits, including the visit of His Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in 2017, which served to open new frontiers for cooperation between our two countries. Over the last 10 years, our two countries have witnessed an increased bilateral trade volume from $60 million in 2011-2012 to $300 million in 2022-2023.
Tanzania's exports, ranging from minerals, cash crops to tourism services, have benefited immensely from agreements between Tanzania and other countries globally. For instance, when President Samia Suluhu Hassan visited China following official invitation by President Xi Jinping in 2022, various contracts and MOUs were signed for mutual interests of the two countries. The specific areas of mutual cooperation included agriculture, industrial development, trade and infrastructure. And President Samia's trip to Zambia, one of Tanzania's oldest allies in the region, her visit aimed to strengthen historical connections between the two countries and explore business opportunities. Tanzania's infrastructure is undergoing a revolution. Major projects funded through international partnerships are unlocking economic potential. Key projects such as the Standard Gauge Railway are not only boosting the economy, but also strengthening Tanzania's position as a regional trade hub. The results of President Samia's economic diplomacy are clear. In just a few years, GDP growth has risen, reaching 5.6% by 2024 from the previous 5.1% growth in 2023. This is in accordance with the World Bank data. Foreign direct investment has increased. Tourism revenue has recovered, generating billions of dollars and therefore strengthening the Tanzanian economy. With a clear vision, President Samia continues to champion economic diplomacy, ensuring Tanzania not only thrives, but also becomes a competitive force in the global economy. The journey has just begun. Faida Ngaga, TBC News.
The Vice President, Dr. Philip Mpango, says the Tanzanian government's commitment to ensure 80% of Tanzanians use clean energy by 2034 remains one of the government's top priority. Dr. Mpango made the remarks while officiating the International Women's Day Conference in Kigoma region, calling on all the society to embrace the clean energy agenda. Here's a report by Grace Akech, read by Antonia Kivaria.
Some Tanzanians use charcoal and wood as a source of energy, which in turn affects the environment and women who are normally the main users. To reduce the effect, the government provides subsidies to boost the use of clean energy, aiming to improve not only its use, but also freeing women from the challenges they face in using charcoal and wood.
We must unite to fight against these challenges. The sixth phase of the government is implementing the national strategy for the use of clean cooking energy, and this strategy started to be implemented last year and will continue until 2034. We want to ensure that 80% of Tanzanians use clean cooking energy.
And the use of clean energy is also strengthening children upbringing and the relationship in the society due to ample time that was otherwise lost in search of charcoal and firewood.
We will have enough time with our families, which will help eliminate gender-based violence in our societies.
On the other hand, the Kigoma Regional Commissioner says they will continue to collaborate with the development stakeholders to provide incentives to encourage the use of clean energy in the community.
We will continue to supervise and collaborate with government partners to implement programs related to advocacy, cleaning cooking, creatively, tree planting, education, and environmental conservation.
Vice President Dr. Philip Mpango issues directives to SIDO and TEMDO to come up with the advanced technology that will facilitate access to clean energy at an affordable price.
Our organizations, including TIDO, SIDO, and others, must collaborate with related regions in this area and across the nation to research and develop various technologies that use clean and affordable energy.
Some of the women who have attended the conference urge more education to be provided to the communities so as to attract more people into the use of clean energy.
I am happy with the education provided at this conference. There are some people who say they can't use gas because they believe it will erupt, but this is due to lack of education. Education is important.
The conference to celebrate International Women's Day in the Western region brings together women from Kigoma, Katavi, Rukwa, and Tabora to discuss the contribution and participation of women in clean energy, use, and environmental protection. Antonia Kivaria, TBC News.
The Minister of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, has instructed the Journalists Accreditation Board to ensure that journalists comply with all the laws, regulations and guidelines of the journalism profession so as to uphold ethical journalism and protect the prestige of the media industry. Here's a story prepared by John Matthias and read by Caroline Malewo.
Today is the day that was eagerly awaited by stakeholders in the media sector within the country. The main task here is to launch the Journalist Accreditation Board. The Minister of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, begins with instructions to the board.
The body should ensure that journalists adhere to the laws governing their profession, maintain legal standards in reporting, and also enforce a code of ethics for journalists, ensuring that they report with integrity, fairness, and responsibility. The body should oversee the process by which journalists are officially registered, verifying their qualifications and professional standing. The body would be responsible for monitoring journalists' adherence to both legal and ethical standards in their work.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information, Culture, Arts and Sports, and the government chief spokesperson, Gerson Msigwa, says the launching of the board is a great milestone to journalists, while the chairman of the board, Tido Mhando, says the move signifies the end of unprofessionalism in journalism.
The body would oversee the certification process, ensuring that journalists meet certain professional standards, qualifications, and ethical guidelines before being officially recognized as members of the profession. Raise a turning point in the media industry, where there may be consequences for those who have made mistakes or acting unethically.
Journalists themselves say the board will be a game changer, bringing major reforms in the media industry.
The shift signal a promising move towards elevating the standard of journalism, where professionalism and integrity become the core values.
Abdullah Katsunzi is the lecturer of the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Dar es Salaam, who insists that in order to continue nurturing professionalism, the board should start at university level.
The information industry is evolving rapidly, largely due to advancements in technology. With new tools, platforms, and ways of disseminating information constantly emerging, the media and journalism sectors must adapt to remain relevant, responsible, and effective.
Caroline Malewo, TBC News.
In other news, the Deputy Minister of Transport, David Kihanzile, says Tanzanian government is committed to continue to work with the private sector in the aviation industry to improve security and attract more investors so as to reduce the cost of air travel. He made the remarks at the Nduli Airport in Iringa region while launching the Precision Airline new routes from Dar es Salaam to Iringa via Dodoma, revealing that the government has spent an average of 63 billion shillings on major infrastructure improvements of the Nduli Airport, which is 93% complete. Raya Masababili has the following report.
Speaking immediately after the inauguration of the Precision Air new route, Kihanzile says the government continues to improve airports in the Southern Highlands to attract more investment from the private sector, noting that the Iringa region's economy is said to improve further.
Iringa ina fursa nyingi, lakini fursa namba moja ni uwepo wa hifadhi ya Ruaha, yani Ruaha National Park.
Iringa has many opportunities, but the first attraction is the presence of Ruaha National Park. That tourists will overflow the region where before they were using cars, but now they are using flights for only 1 hour from Dar es Salaam.
On the other hand, the executive director of the Precision Airlines, Patrick Mwari, says there are plans to bring cargo planes to facilitate the transportation of agricultural products from the region, while some travelers says the new route will help save time because initially they had to spend up to 10 hours on the road traveling to Iringa from various regions.
Our trips to Iringa will strengthen tourism in Iringa and in the near region and in the Southern Highlands.
And most of the time, we used to spend almost 8 to 10 hours from Iringa to Dar es Salaam using bus and the other means of transport. But for now, with the flight, it will take within 2 hours, you'll be already in Dar es Salaam or you'll be back also to Iringa. So, in terms of transportation, it will be very easy, so we'll be very on time.
I was the first time to reach in Iringa, so it's a good journey. So it could be saving the time for our issues to take it place in Iringa. So
for more than 10 years, the airline stopped its operation to the Iringa region due to infrastructural challenges at the airport. Now, the airline will make its trip 3 times a week from Dar es Salaam to Iringa via Dodoma. Reporting from Iringa, Rahima Sababili, TBC News.
Namibia's President Nangolo Mbuba has expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support from all corners of Africa to accord a final send-off to the founding president of Namibia, Sam Nujoma, who was buried on Saturday. Here are more details.
Government's careful consideration of logistics, including the use of Air Force's Shanji Y-9E military aircraft, enabled Nuyoma's remains to be transported to regions where people could bid a final farewell to the late statesman. The Shanji Y-9E military aircraft was acquired in December 2024 and commissioned by the president As Commander-in-Chief, President Mbumba says the response and turn-up from Namibians in numbers was encouraging and a demonstration of unity even during sad moments.
It was an effort, but we could have done that, move around, but if the people are not responding, if they are not showing, it will not be the type of celebration that we saw today, what we saw yesterday, and what we saw in the regions.
That is so.
Namibians, sometimes we don't realize what a beautiful country we have.
That is true.
And what beautiful people we have, because we pick up the little barrel is what we pick up. But we have a very good people in times of needs, in terms of helping one another, in terms of supporting one another.
The send-off accorded to the country's founding President Nujoma has been described as a befitting honor.
Well, we are mourning our founding president, but at the same time, we are also celebrating the life of our founding president, the icon of our
revolution,
liberation struggle, the man who stood firm and led us up to this point. We are very, very thankful for what he has done for us.
We have followed the development from day one. I think I was there the next day on Monday. But yesterday I was at the memorial, and then when I came here, my wife said, "Don't forget to thank the first civil servant of the nation for the job well done." So I'm conveying that message.
Thank you.
So actually, we are proud to you as a president. You took us through this.
Well, I don't know. The people don't have to be proud of me. They have to be proud of themselves. Yes.
The courtesy by former Ambassador Kapewasha in delegation to State House was among the many received by the head of state as chief mourner following the burial service of founding President Nujoma at the Heroes Acre.
Tanzania is amongst the few countries whose economy has stabilized after every economy in Africa was hit hard in 2020 by the COVID-19, registering economic growth of 5.4%, which is above expected average in Africa. To understand more on how this and other factors like inflation, energy, and a currency do impact Tanzania's economy, TBC News spoke with the economic analyst and CEO of SSC Group, Salum Awadh.
The economy has been rebounding from start. Last year, the economy grew by 5.4%, which is good. And it's very competitive. It's above average African growth in terms of economic growth last year. Inflation has remained a single digit, which is the most important part, 3.1%. So the economy has been rebounding. One of the challenges we have faced as an economy after COVID and, of course, Russia-Ukraine war was the currency. So our currency depreciated big time. So last year, I think we lost the currency value by almost 9% against the dollars. But now that is changing. So you have seen the work that BOT is doing, promotion of exports, bringing in more tourists, and then we're recovering from that, which will bring more dollars, and then of course reduce the pressure on the exchange rate, which is important because any international investor that wants to invest in any country, one of the things they look at is the currency volatility. If your currency is weak, if it's very volatile, then of course less people come to invest in your country. So those are things that we have done after COVID, strengthening our currency. It was, we were bad hit, but the few weeks, I think we have all seen that we are regaining the strength of our currency. Inflation, which is one of the key components of any economy, rebounding from any crisis. And then, of course, GDP growth. That's one thing that they look at. So it's been on a positive trend for the past few weeks or months, if you may, and we hope this year maybe we can go much further beyond that. Structure in general, where energy is part of, is one of the key components of any economic development of any country. If people don't have access to power, if it's very expensive to use electricity in a particular country, the cost of doing business in the country becomes much higher. So one of the most priorities of any country in any economy is to lower the cost of electricity and increase access to people in terms of connection and usability.
The former president of Tanzania, Dr. Jakaya Mrisho Kikwete, urges members of the community to use online and offline art platforms to preserve Tanzanian culture and foster development. Dr. Jakaya Kikwete made the remarks during the inauguration of the Performing Arts Center at the International School of Tanganyika earlier today in Dar es Salaam. Peter Mganga has more details.
International School of Tanganyika was established in 1963 by a group of parents with the help of the Geneva-based International Schools Association. And today, the former president of the United Republic of Tanzania, Dr. Jakaya Kikwete, is entrusted with the duty to open a performing arts center.
In many ways, the performing arts reflect the soul of our nation. Through storytelling, traditional and contemporary songs and dances, etc., we celebrate our triumphs, confront our struggles, and imagine a future that is brighter and more inclusive. This is especially so for a nation as diverse and culturally rich as Tanzania.
On the other hand, the Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Professor Adolf Mkenda, praises the contribution of International School of Tanganyika for allocating 11 scholarships for Tanzanian students who have done well in their national examinations.
After I came here a couple of years ago, some of the things we discussed, we engaged, we saw some of the steps going forward, offering scholarships to some of Tanzanian students who did well in their National Examination Council of Tanzania. I'm glad to hear that we have 11 students now studying here. Also, say thank you for the outreach program. As we saw here, the performance included students from other schools.
Melanie Valba is a director of International School of Tanganyika, and here she expressed her commitment towards Tanzania's government through impacting skills to local teachers and the provision of scholarship for local students.
IST is proud to support 4 teacher interns each year. Our Tanzanian intern colleagues are local teachers who wish to further their education by gaining experience with our international baccalaureate curriculum programs, by working collaboratively with educators from around the world, as well as gaining an educational qualification through the Masters of Education program at Moreland University.
ICT is a diverse international school currently serving about 1,000 students from across the globe and 120 teachers, including from the United States, the United Kingdom, Tanzania, Canada, and about 14 other countries. Peter Mganga, TBC News, Dar es Salaam.
Now, before we wind up the local news tonight, let us take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania, BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday. It's now time for the international news. And in the international news, as the African continent has bid farewell to one of its most revered sons, Dr. Sam Nujoma, we reflect on his extraordinary life and legacy. Namibian founding father, Dr. Nujoma's death leaves a void in the Pan-African movement, but his indelible mark on the continent's history will continue to inspire generations to come. Here are more details.
Dr. Samuel Shefishunya Daniel Nujoma, Namibia's founding president and a lifelong champion of African liberation, died on the 8th of February 2025. He was 95. Dr. Nujoma was buried in Windhoek on Saturday, 1 March. As the African continent bids farewell to one of its most revered sons, we reflect on his extraordinary life and legacy. Born on May 12, 1929, in Etunda, a village in Onganjera near Okaho, Ovambaland, Southwest Africa, Nujoma's journey began in the plains of Namibia, where he witnessed the brutal realities of colonialism. His experiences as a contract worker on the railways, where he saw firsthand the exploitation and humiliation of black workers, ignited a fire within him that would drive his life's work. As a founding member and president of the Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO, Dr. Nujoma played a pivotal role in Namibia's struggle for independence. His leadership and vision helped galvanize international support for the cause, ultimately leading to the country's liberation in 1990. Dr. Nujoma's Pan-Africanism was more than just rhetoric. It was a guiding principle that informed his every move. He was a key figure in the African liberation movement, working closely with other icons like Nelson Mandela, Robert Mugabe, and Julius Nyerere. Together, they formed a formidable force that challenged the status quo and fought for African self-determination. As Namibia's first president, Nujoma's commitment to Pan-Africanism remained unwavering. He was a driving force behind regional integration efforts, recognizing that a united Africa was the key to unlocking the continent's vast potential. Under his leadership, Namibia played a pivotal role in shaping the Southern Africa Development Community, SADC, and promoting economic cooperation among member states. Dr. Nujoma's legacy extends far beyond his own country. He was a champion of African unity and self-determination, and his life's work stands as a powerful testament to the impact of courage, conviction, and collective action. As we reflect on his remarkable journey, we are reminded that the struggle for African unity and self-determination continues. Although Dr. Nujoma's passing has left a void, his spirit and legacy continue to inspire Africans to strive for a more united, prosperous, and liberated Africa. He was buried on Saturday, 1 March 2025, but his legacy will live on as a beacon of hope for generations to come.
Economic development, which meant to benefit all Namibians, irrespective of color or race or status in the society.
And that was the international news. We'll be right back with the sports news. And in sports, Tanzanian referees instructor Leslie Liunda says the VAR course for Tanzanian referees is important for the improvement of Tanzanian league and set a relevant ground towards the start of the use of the technology next year. Speaking to TBC News, Liunda insists the course is critical in keeping up with the technology, while FIFA referees trainer Terma Dore says the aim of the course is to increase the understanding of the VAR system to referees.
In CAF system also, they are saying from next season, countries which they don't use VAR, they are not going to use their referees. So by doing what we are doing in a matter of educating our referee, in a matter of introducing the technology of VAR to our league, it means first of all we are increasing the level of our league.
We are here on behalf of FIFA to help assist the referee in Tanzania to be up to standard with the other countries with VR.
The VAR course is the first phase training for Tanzanian referees and was held for 4 days at the Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, marking a new beginning for football fans. And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I am Kanki Mwegomole. Good night.
Unaangalia TBC1, ukweli na uhakika.